So jumping into spoiler ending of the movie, where did the motivation come to end the movie with Transformers finally meeting G.I. Joe?
We've talked about it for a long time, and the fans have been, really rabid about it, which is great, and so it makes you want to do it. We never found a really organic way to do it. And I think one of the things is you just don't want to do it in a way that feels, I'll say, cynical, that you're just jamming in it because there's more fans and the fans are going to like it, So what happened was Anthony's story, the story of Noah, is a character who is having a hard time because of life getting a job. And it just felt like so organic that what job is he going to finally break through with? G.I. Joe.
Now, I know that it's very early on. You have no idea what the next movie is going to be, but let's hypothetically talk about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So do you envision, because there's a lot of possibilities of what you can do next.
Yes.
Do you envision that the Joes will be a big aspect? Do you envision it's a big crossover between the worlds? Like, how do you see the next film going?
I think it'll be hard to do crossover between worlds because then there's just so much story you have to tell. And I'm really resisting these 2.5, 3 hour giant, long, overly long, in my opinion, tentpole movies. So we want to tell a tight story. I think when you see this movie, there's certain characters. Look, you got to do Bumblebee and Optimus, you know what I mean? So the way I would look at it, and I think the way we understand it, is the Maximals, we've barely touched the surface. So we really got to bring them into the story in a way, into the continuation of the story. And then we'll introduce some Joe characters. So it'll be kind of a group, if you would. What mission they're going to go on, we don't know. What's the task? Who are we saving it from? We don't know. But, we do know one thing is if you put too many characters in, you don't get to know them. So we're not going to add a host of Maximals or a host of G.I. Joes or a host of Autobots. We're going to try to keep the group somewhat tight. So
that basically, because I was just going to say that when you have too many protagonists, it becomes everyone only gets 3 minutes of story per movie, or 2 minutes even.
Yeah.
So do you envision, like, in terms of Joe characters, like 2 or 3?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know, but it certainly wouldn't be more than that. Probably more than 1 and 3 or less,
Sure.
I don't know. And Steven obviously was going to have a big voice in what we're going to choose. But I just, he and I both share the philosophy of if we're going to have some characters in it, you really need to give them the space so the audience can relate to them.
My last thing on the ending of the movie in G.I. Joe, obviously there's so many characters in the Joe universe. Do you have a favorite or two that you are like, oh, I have to bring that character in?
Well, it's an interesting thing because when you think about, do we bring a new Duke in? Do we bring a new, it's hard to think about exactly some of the ones we've done, although they absolutely could exist in this world. So I don't have a favorite. Trying to think about it. Do I really have a favorite? Well, Snake Eyes is probably my favorite Joe. So, already, I don't know. Maybe Snake Eyes will fit very organically here. I don't know.